baby. Fantasy Football Sevens podcast number 2. So glad you're here with me. I'm here. I'm just kind of a silhouette. It's kind of cool. I kind of like being the guy in the shadows, you know what I'm saying? The guy behind the scenes. It's kind of who I am. But this is a show about you guys. Remember, this is all for Fantasy Football Sevens. It's all for Kawasaki's disease. I'm on vacation, so I don't have all my props with me. But we do have a beautiful golf course to look at, a beautiful lake. People are hitting from this end, the east side of the lake, across this hole onto the green. I haven't played golf since high school, but I can appreciate the sport. I'm a disc golfer these days. Shout out to all the disc golfers out there. Once we get through it, though, I have everybody's draft loaded as we speak right now. All 6. Proud to say that the Danny Trejo division is holding it down. We are about to get down to we're on the last turn. Believe that or not, some of you guys are way back there, but the Danny Trejo division is on the way. We're macheteing our way all through it, you know what I'm saying? So we're good to go there. Let's take a peek on that one real quick. I just drafted, and I had to get my guy McManus on the turn, so we're waiting on Steen at 887 to make a pick. We are on 1910, though, so yeah, be jealous, everybody. Be real jealous. And it's good to be done. I do want to remind everybody, while not everybody's watching, I'll put it in the text, but I do want to remind everyone that I do believe that as soon as the season clears, as soon as everybody drafts, the waivers are open, I believe. So you can go put players on IR. You can go put players on that IR slot, whether they're suspended, whether they're PUP, whether they have a legit IR. You can put all those players on the IR slot. It's a little bit of a cheat code, and then you can go load up that players that you just took off. So keep that in mind for me, okay? You want to be able to do that. You want to maximize your opportunity. You want to maximize your roster to give you those opportunities. Like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, if he's available in some of y'all's draft, I recommend going and getting him. I don't know the severity of his injury. From what I read, it's supposed to be really minor. And I read that Andy Reid has been really pumped for CEH to have a full offseason to develop his skills, right? So one little cheat code is CEH is available, go get him. As soon as the draft's over, as long as he has that PUP designation, you can go put him right on the IR, and you got a running back. You got a starting running back in this league of 16 teams. You got to have 32 running backs. I hate to break it to you. There's only 32 starting running backs. And that's on weeks without bye weeks. So running backs are gold. We all know that. Even if you're doing the hero, the zero RB, or whatever you like. The truth is, in fantasy football sevens in this format, you're going to have a weak spot. You're going to have a spot where you don't have that many linebackers, or you don't have that many wide receivers, or you don't have that many running backs, and you're going to get caught up on these bye weeks. So that's just a little bit of a peaceful bit of information. Go load up on it. I went and got Christian Watson way late in the draft because he's on the PUP, and I'm going to be able to put him on the IR spot and just sit on it until the season begins. All right. Remember, you always want to take a Bill Belichick approach to your fantasy football team. And what I mean by that is, if it's not in the rule book, you need to go get it, and I laid out the rule book very clearly in my mind. So go be like Bill Belichick. Go get the ring mentality, whatever it takes to win. No days off, right? That's what we're doing, no days off. Okay, so back to Danny Trejo division. We got some really good teams stacking up. I'm obviously going to talk about mine because we're in there. So let's see how I've built this team through the draft. Went Russell Wilson first. It's kind of cool because I got McManus right now. I love what I call double downing with a quarterback and a kicker. So that way, if they don't get in the end zone, you're at least getting some points from the kicker. And in theory, okay, we'll see. A lot of teams are starting to go up for fourth down. Don't get me started on analytics and live football. Can't stand it. Russell Wilson, Austin Eckler, Aaron Jones, T. Law, Terrence Lawrence. They say he threw a bullet to Zay Jones at training camp. Be careful buying into too much of training camp hype. I know we're just so dang hungry. We're like a sponge out in the desert, at this point in the fantasy football/football season. So if it even drops one drop, we soak it all up. Be careful with it. But also take it, as a bit of advice if it's consistent. If you're hearing something consistent, one of these guys on the radar you don't know about, a rookie, especially a defensive rookie that can pick up a playbook, quicker than some wide receivers or tight ends and running backs. Keep an eye out for that stuff, all right? Coming back with my 5th pick, I've been taking this in this format. I've always taken my first IDP in the 5th round. And Danny Trejo, there was already, I think, 16 IDPs off the board before I took mine in the 5th round. I took my boy D. Campbell, and I backdoored that with the Green Bay Packers getting a 6 stack with Campbell in the Packers defense. Then I went with Deontay Johnson with my first wide receiver. I kind of always been a hero or zero wide receiver guy, but Johnson was sitting there all the way in the 7th round. I had to take him. Got Carson Wentz just to have some trade bait later in the round. He could be good. He could be better than maybe Lawrence. So I want 2 quarterbacks in this format. I got Penny, came back with, man, I always trouble with this name. It's one of my favorite IDPs, Okereke. And he could have a stud year, particularly if Darius Leonard isn't ready with his injuries, with his surgeries this offseason. Keep an eye out for the linebacker. He had over 100 tackles, telling you guys that are still in the 13th, 14th round. Then I went and got Brandon Ayuk, and I got Kay Hamilton, the rookie out of the Ravens. I think he's going to make a lot of big plays. I think he's going to get targeted a lot in the passing game, so he should lead some tackles. Hey, and this is my outbreak candidate of the year. He's kind of always borderline the outbreak, but nobody's really talking about him at all. And it's Marquise Golden for the Arizona Cardinals. They lost Jordan Hicks. They lost Chandler Jones, who went to Las Vegas. I think Golden, he may have a 17, 18 sack year, baby. And with the way Arizona plays an up-tempo offense, that means more defensive plays for the Cardinals as well. Look out for Marquise Golden, everybody. I went and got Russell Gage. That was before the Julio Jones news. Shout out. If you don't know, Julio Jones has been drafted by Tampa Bay. I've seen a lot of hate and a lot of slander to this man on Twitter, and I just don't know if it's popular and people are just kind of just snowballing it. I mean, you can't be expecting him to be who he was 10 years ago, okay? Don't expect that. But he's getting Tom freaking Brady, man, who led the league in pass yards last year. Byron Leftwich has got almost full control now of the offense. Guess what? He's a former quarterback. He's going to trust Tom Brady. They're going to pass the ball a lot. I mean, Julio's still going so late. I haven't done a new draft since the news. But he's been going as like wide receiver 7, 8. I mean, he's worth a flyer. Go get Russell Gage. I still believe – or go get Julio Jones. I still believe in Gage, so he is my wide receiver 3 in this format. I went and got Adrian Phillips. What did I tell you guys in the last show? Dual designation players, man. You want these dual designation players with only 5 bench spots. Guess what? He led the Patriots in tackles last year. McCourty did sign back, so that could cut into some of his play time. I do think they're going to use Phillips all over. He could drop down and become their slot safety guy, could be in the box guy. We'll have to see how it breaks out, but he does have a linebacker defensive back designation. So clutch, you got to have those guys. And I've been a J.D. McKissic stan for 3 years now, and I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. I was happy when I thought he was going to sign with Buffalo. I was like, this is it. No, he stayed with the Commanders. Don't forget they're the Commanders now. And I think he's still going to do good. We got to see how Gibson's injury is. But I don't think Gibson's injury – obviously, if he goes down, McKinsic's value is to the roof. But McKinsic already has those big value games where he gets a couple passes. They're behind, have to play the negative play script. McKinsic can go out and catch 9, 10 passes. And we know Carson loves to check it down. He loves his tight ends. He loves checking it down, letting his playmakers do work underneath. So I think McKissic has intrinsic value. Sorry about the helicopters. There must have been an accident. They've been going by the whole time. I took Watson with the 17th pick. I was really, really, really hoping that my boy Highsmith would come back around. Somebody snagged him from me, and I had to go get Jay Phillips from Miami. Week 11 bye week, second-year player. He didn't have a lot of tackles, so I'm banking on him having more tackles. That's Phillips again. Not too many people remember him from Miami, second-year player. He had 8.5 sacks last year. If he can improve on that and improve his tackle numbers, I'll take him as my defensive lineman too, because Marquise Golden is going to be a stud. Then we got McManus, all right? So we're coming back around. That's 19 picks, leading all drafts at the moment. We'll take it to the Trejo, or we'll take it to Robin Williams division next. Some of you guys are going pretty good, but I just broke down my team to show you, for some reason, why the things I do. All right, why these dual designations are important, why Sleeper has these things for us, and you need to take advantage. I really love Sleeper. Been working with them since their first season, and it's kind of neat because I play. My league of record was on NFL.com for over a decade, and they didn't have dual designation, so it's kind of a cheat code in itself. Remember, be like Bill Belichick. Go and seize the day, my friends. All right, let's move it on to another division, and we'll fly through some of these for you guys. Like I said, right now we are on – moved it over to the Robin Williams. Looks like they just moved Phil Swain, my man, in the UK, down in Birmingham. Well, we're going to go ahead and we'll take a look at – let's take Bob Lung just finished they're on the, like I said, 13-14. Bob Lung just made the last pick. Let's take a look at Bob Lung's team. We got Harris, Derek Carr, Daniel Jones, Mike Evans, Travis Etienne. I'm not as big as an Etienne guy. I don't know if you guys heard. I can't say his name, but I think it's Etienne. But J-Rob, I saw Tyler Downey, this year's champion in the Robin Williams League. I saw him take him 2 years ago in our other league and ride him on his rookie year to an amazing, amazing run. So I like J-Rob, but let's see a Titty. They got a loaded backfield. Doug Peterson's so hard to get a read on is an offense, and they truly do have playmakers everywhere. So, but Bob Lugg went with him as his RB2. Hey, he did the same thing I did. He got Johnson in the 6th round. It's hard to pass him up, I know. Allen Robinson, Dalton Schultz. I think he could be a tight end 3 this year. Good pickup right there, my friend. You don't have to have a tight end in fantasy football 7s, but let me tell you a strategy if you do. If you get a good tight end, if you get a top 5 tight end, your flex is taken care of. So now you can truly add depth to your running back or your wide receiver or your linebacker, a position that, where there's other studs and you can load up on them, all right? So take a look at that as well. Kenneth Walker, loading up on his offensive guys. Alan Lazard could be wide receiver 1. Deontay Jones, good pickup. Bob, you can put him on the PUP immediately. Patrick Surtain and Chargers defense. It's crazy to see somebody only at 13 picks at the moment. But, that's where about the average is at. Tyler coming in hot. Looks like you guys got a pretty good mix. Another thing I love about Sleeper is the color coordination. If you ever see one of my spreadsheets, you'll understand why. But it allows me to just quickly take a glance. And, for example, I see so many defensive linemen. We got Bosa, Garrett. We got Young. We also have Allen. We got Crosby. We got Buckner. We got Kevin Thibodeau, Trey Hendrickson. So Robert Williams' draft has taken a big interest in the defensive linemen early in their drafts. Kind of interesting for me to see. I'm a stat nerd in that sense. I like seeing how the leagues develop. That's part of being a commissioner, I think. All right, let's see who's participating right now in the Winona division. Who do we got here? Let's see. TD Good. Norma's watching it. Thank you guys. Kyle Keegan. I appreciate it, TD. I really do. Let's take a look at your team. Let's take a look at TD's team. Thank you, Facebook user. Let's see. TD, my man, Fantasy Good, drafting from the 7th position in the Winona Rider division, kind of right there in the middle. It's hard in a 16-team league to be in the middle because so much talent goes away. Let's see what my man did. He took the first running back off the board with 1-7. JT, good job, TD. Justin Fields, he's been about him all year. I'm starting to lean more towards Fields. I think he's going to be able to carry Mooney. Let's see if you were able to – oh, somebody snagged you with Mooney. That's right. You got Saquon and Justin. JT could have RB1, RB2 this season. And then my man TD went all defense. Went Roquan Smith, Devin White, Darius Leonard. You're going to have to look really hard in 96 teams to find 3 linebackers better than that on a single team. Roquan Smith, Devin White, Darius Leonard all have – Leonard and Roquan have the same bye week. But other than that, pretty good. Marcus Mariota, I know some people don't want to hear this, but I think Ryder's going to be on the bench most of the season. I think Mariota's going to start all season. And then my guy came back with another linebacker, got Fred Warner. He doubled down with Marcus Mariota with London. Went and got the Packers defense, probably top defense of the year. Chase Claypool, Alan Lazard, Bradley Chubb got the defensive lineman set. Akeem Hines went and got the handcuff to JT. I love it. Dodson got the rookie from Washington, going to pair. Could have a good time with Wentz. We'll have to see how he fits in that pecking order with Curtis Samuel. And then he went and got Quay Walker to double down with the Green Bay Packers. TD's got a lot of stacks, a lot of great linebackers. Linebackers win you championships in this league. So keep that in mind. I love what I see, TD. That is a great, great roster, my man. It's got championship written all over it. Got some more people tuned in. Let's see what we got going on right now. Great roster build up, though, TD. Going to be moving to after this right now, who we got next on deck? Ewan McGregor. Is anybody out here in the Ewan McGregor League want me to go over their roster? Give me a quick, heck yeah, I'm here or something. Going to review it. Not trying to kill the golf shot for you guys. I'm sorry. I'll try to stay out of that. That's much more pleasant to look at while I'm talking, I'm sure, than a silhouette. But quick drink of water. Like I said, I don't have my booth. We're on vacation. So happy to be here, visiting my family out here in beautiful Pagosa. Let's see. Let's get to Samuel L. Jackson. Okay. Let me see what you got over there, Alex. I'll go there real quick. Let's see. Going to FF Hustlers. He drafted from the 13th spot. It's hard for me to read it and not get in the view, trying to keep the golf course score for you. Went and got Tom Brady. I just ranted about Julio Jones. And Tom Brady's not going anywhere. They're going to pass 65, 70% of their offense with Byron Leftwich having full reins of the offense. I love Tom Brady as your QB1. Stephon Diggs probably got the wide receiver 1 with the 2nd pick. Kelsey, see, this is what I just told you guys. If you go get a great tight end in this format, now his flex is set. You think there's going to be too many wide receivers or running backs in a half-point PPR league that's going to outscore Kelsey in your flex? I don't think so. So Hustler went this route. Then he went and got Mac Jones, been pumped up a lot. What I read yesterday, he said all his teammates were highly impressed. Coaching staff is highly impressed with how much dedication he's put into plays, playbooks, audibles, really understanding the offense. So he got Mac Jones, came back with A.J. Dillon, his first running back, RB14. Week 14, got Cortland Sutton at his wide receiver too. Singletary, who I am much higher on than most people, man. He's going to be the starter. I can't believe people were surprised when they said that. I mean, he wasn't bad last year. He was actually really serviceable for a team that's run second option. And I mean, even with all those running backs they brought in, Singletary's the guy, and he's still young. He's still developing. So I think that's an excellent running back too. Let's go see what you started doing on the defensive side of the ball, my man, right here. You made a big switch. We're going 6, 7, 8, 9 picks of straight defense right here from my man Alex. Went and got C.J. Mosley, going to anchor that Jets defense, going to be great again right there. Cole Holcomb, who I really wanted, somebody took him way ahead of time than I thought he would go. Cole Holcomb's probably going to have another 120 tackle season. Washington, if their offense struggles at first, especially, Holcomb's got that great defensive line in front of him. They don't even focus on him. He's able to run sideline to sideline. Great pick. Antonio Winfield, defensive back stud for Tampa Bay. So you got the defensive captain and the offensive captain for the Bucks. Let me find out you're a Tampa Bay fan. Then you went and doubled down on defense. You went and got Chargers, Dolphins, stayed in the AFC, different bye weeks. It's a great strategy. I see a lot of teams have success riding whoever the defense is playing in a weaker one. Got the AFC East in one division. Chargers are playing against non-playoff teams for their other teams. I do love that, man. Trey Hendrickson went and got Mr. Sack himself for the Bengals. He's probably going to have another 14, 15 sack season. I love it. And here's a guy we're not talking about, Denzel Perryman. He kind of faded. People kind of forgot about him, a little bit, but he's still down there in Las Vegas. He could lead the team in tackles again. He's got Chandler on one side. He's got Max Crosby on the other, so people aren't going to be able to cue off on him and try to block him like they were. Love, love, love Perryman. Baker, he's not getting the love that he did last year. I had him ranked as one of my top 5 linebackers last year. It's my biggest bust, but I'm still a Baker fan. He's got a great defensive line in front of him, just like Perryman, so he has room to free it up. And he went and got Hines with the other one. So you got 2 running backs on bye week 14. My only criticism so far, my man Alex, but the rest of the team looks good. Going to be hard to find. Going to be hard to find somebody that's going to build a defensive roster like that. You got to commit to it. It's 7 weeks, or 7 positions. You went 7 in a row, man. Yeah, people are sleeping on Perryman big time, dude. I can't believe it. Honestly, he's been a stud last year, but people like to focus on Crosby, Chandler Jones, and not Mo Rick, Abrams. They like to focus on Abrams. So, I like it, man. He's going to be hard to beat. I'll show you guys later on in this year. We have Alex. He lost his first 7 games, came back and won all the rest and made it to the playoffs. Pretty unreal stat, really, when you think about it. That doesn't happen in hardly any fantasy football formats. With that right there, going to go back to my man Ewan McGregor. Let's see what we got going right here. Who's up right now? You guys are just now in the 12th round. It's the slowest draft. Nothing wrong with that. But let's see. Let's take a look at Dustin. Or no, let's take a look at Kingies right here. Richard King from King Fantasy Sports. He has drafted 12 in a row. So let's see who we got. He went Cooper Kupp. He was drafted from the 15th spot. It's a hard spot to draft from in the 16-team league. But he got Cooper Kupp there. Went Derek Carr. Nick Chubb after that. I'm still on Chubb. I don't know why people are so low on him. They're probably going to hand him the ball more until Deshaun Watson gets back. Then he went with the Cougar killer himself, Zach Wilson. Michael Pittman as his wide receiver too. I mean, good Lord, that's set. Then he went Gibson and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. There you go, Kingy. Put CEH on the IR if y'all ever finish the draft. Patrick Queen is his linebacker 1. He went Brandon Ayuk with his wide receiver 3, Rashawn Stevenson. A lot of people say that he's going to overtake Harris. I don't know, but that's still a great running back pick. Then he went Jesse Bates and Tremaine Edmonds. Like I said, not as many picks there. Tremaine Edmonds was my captain. We ran keepers for years. I had Tremaine Edmonds his first 3 years. I'm still a huge fan of him. I think the main reason I love him is when I go back and watch film, he's so easy to see. He's the biggest guy out there. He's like an ogre out there with all the other guys. Like you would think the lineman would be bigger than him. He's bigger than the offensive lineman. He's bigger than the defensive lineman, and he plays middle linebacker. I love him. I think he's a great stud. He's probably one of my favorite linebackers in the NFL, honestly. Wrapping it up, let's get to the Martin Freeman division. They are on round 16. And let's take a look here at somebody that's drafted it all. let's take a look at Kieran. We haven't had too many on the turn. So let's see how somebody handled being on the 16th pick. Kieran 94. He was in here last year, second-year vet in this format. So we got Matthew Stafford with the first pick. Almost have to go quarterback when you're that far back on the turn. And you happen to get a guy that threw 50 touchdowns the year before for 6 point per TD pass. I mean, why do we still have leagues with 4 per touchdown pass? I have no idea. Like John Madden said, gosh darn it, a touchdown's a touchdown. Let's make it a touchdown. I'm a kind of a Madden believer as far as that goes. You came all the way back around. Oh, wait, excuse me. On the next turn, you took Austin Eckler. I love that pick. Western Colorado guy. We're out here in Western Colorado, so I got to be an Eckler guy. All right, then you went Matt Ryan and Nick Chubb. You solidified your backfield with 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs on the 2 turns. Then you went Deontay Johnson. There he is, sitting back so late. Could have 120 catches this year for Mitchell Trubisky. People are still hating on him. Then you went Mark Andrews. There's that philosophy again. Get a top 3 tight end, throw him in your flex. Now you don't have to worry about it. And it looks exactly like that's what Kieran did in his second year in this format, because then he went back and got DK for his wide receiver 2. Then look what he did. He focused on his defense. He went Chargers defense. Logan Wilson for the Cincinnati Bengals. I love. There's my guy again, Bobby Okikoriki. Harrison Smith, getting old, still a great defensive back. Daniela Hunter. So he went 2 Minnesota guys, and I think Hunter's going to have a comeback player of the year kind of year candidate. So if you're a betting person, maybe put a little bit of money down on Hunter. If he goes and gets 15, 16 sacks, people are going to remember that he was once the number 1 defensive lineman for fantasy football. Then he went and got Kevin Beard, my favorite defensive back, plays for the Tennessee Titans. Very underrated, very undervalued. Went to his first All-Pro last year. Had a couple TDs last year, a bunch of tackles. You want Kevin Beard, man. Then he went Cameron Hayward. So let's review. He went defense, linebacker, D-back, D-lineman, D-back, D-lineman. So he just set all his starters right there. All right, great strategy, Kieran. On the turn, you have to be really precise with what you're going to do, because let me tell you something, 30 picks before you get to pick your next person, that's not your grandma's league. You got to step it up. You got to target players on the turn. Very great draft, Kieran. You went back and got Jamal Williams, and then you got Kadarius Toney on the turn. Got your backup running back, your backup wide receiver, and you guys still have 3 more picks. Or 4 more, excuse me. That is a great team, Kieran. I really love it. It's really difficult to be on the turn, on either turn, 1 or 16 in this format. So I really enjoy it. All right. So now what we're doing here, and it was because of the team def. That's why I sucked to start the season. Yeah, the team defense. Like I said, you got to make sure you understand the team defensive scoring. Alex just gave you a big hint. If you're used to that old style scoring, traditional formats, I don't knock on it. I'd rather you play that format than anything. But in this new age format, you got to catch up. And these defenses give you so many points, man. You get 50, 55 points from your defense in 1 week. You're going to be very difficult to beat. I very much promise you that. All right, let's take a look at everybody's Super Bowl predictions. I'm going to wrap up the show for you. I always try to keep it under 30 minutes. Like I said, beautiful golf course. I'm sure these people are pissed at me recording the show, but, it's a free country. Let's take a look, man. I couldn't believe some of these predictions. I went and mapped them all. I put them in order. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I think the geese got in rhythm with me there. We have 16 predictions that had more than 1 total, okay? We have several single predictions. The one that surprised me that was only 1 prediction, only 1 person predicted the Super Bowl, was the Rams to beat the Bills, okay? Kind of unique, 49ers versus Bills, Bills to beat the 49ers, Bills to beat the Commanders, Broncos to beat the Rams, Broncos to beat the Bucks, Bucks to beat the Bengals, Chargers to beat the Packers, Bengals to beat the Packers, Chiefs to beat the Rams. 1 person just put Steelers. They didn't even give me another team, so I guess they're pretty diehard, Pittsburgh people. We got Cowboys beating the Ravens, 49ers beating the Chiefs, Bills beating the Packers. Only 1 vote there. Only 1 vote for Bills beating the Packers. Raiders beating the Eagles. Kind of an odd one. Colts beating the Packers. Kind of a unique upset one. Bills beating the Vikings. Dolphins beating the Bucks. Come on now. Colts beating the Cowboys. Ravens beating the Bucks. Chargers beating the Cardinals. I think that was the only one the Cardinals even made it to the Super Bowl on. I thought that was the most unique prediction. The Chargers and the Cardinals, 2 West teams. Very interesting. Eagles beating the Chiefs. Chiefs beating the Rams. Ravens beating the Bills. Bills beating the Cowboys. Packers beating the Ravens. Packers beating the Raiders. Okay, those are all the singles. Now we're going to get up into the twos. 2 teams predicted the Packers to beat the Broncos. That's like my two favorite teams. If that happens, we get vindication on the '97 season. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be so happy if the Packers and the Broncos play the Super Bowl. Vikings versus Bills. We got the Vikings beating the Bills, and two people predict that. Must be hardcore Minnesota fans. Moving up, we got Bengals beating the Bucks twice. We got the Rams beating the Chargers twice. Those are all of our chart. Oh, wait, one more. Raiders beating the Packers. 2 sets of the Raiders beating the Packers. That'd be so weird for Devontae Adams and me as a Packer fan. And then 2 more for the Chiefs beating the Eagles. A lot of hardcore Eagles fans in here. One thing I found out about Eagles, they're just as bad as Cowboys fans in the sense that they really believe they're going to go to the Super Bowl every year. I do think the Eagles are going to go to the NFC Championship, so I shouldn't be giving y'all too much grief about that, okay? We'll get to that show later. Moving up to the threes, we got the Bucks over the Chargers. Actually had 3. A lot of Chargers hype for some of these LA people. We'll see. All right, Bucks over the Broncos. That's a very interesting one. I thought there's 3 of those. Very interesting one. Cowboys fans still living in the 90s. We got the Cowboys beating the Bills. There's 3 people that predicted that. Could happen. Cowboys are going to, I think, lose to the Eagles in the NFC playoffs. But they have the team. They have the coach. They have all the pieces are there for the Cowboys, so it could happen. All right, moving up into 4. We got the Rams beating the Bills. Like I said, there was only – oh, wait. There was 4. Okay, I miscalculated. I couldn't believe that. So, yeah, there would be 5 total. My one miscalculation. I was like, there's only 1 Rams versus the Bills? No, that's what happened right there. 4 Rams beating the Bills. Let's make that 5 total. Eagles beating the Bills. There were 5 people that predicted the Eagles to beat the Bills. 5. I think that's pretty wacky to me. I don't know if they're quite ready there with the second-year coach to get to the Super Bowl. But 5 of you guys predicted that. 5 people predicted the Packers versus the Chiefs. It's always hard to knock the Chiefs out. Is that dynasty kind of making a flip? Do they have the defense to do it? Can Patrick Mahomes carry them to another AFC championship? Of course, we all love Green Bay. We all know Green Bay is going to be great. No doubt about that. All right. The 6 teams took the Bills to beat the Bucks. 7 teams took the Bucks to beat the Bills. So it was a very popular choice between the 2 teams. All right. 13 total. Bills, Bucks. That wouldn't be the worst Super Bowl, I guess. I'd hope the Bills would beat Tom Brady. I just got another Tom Brady Super Bowl. It's the last thing we need, everybody. But then the most popular choice, by far, double more than any other teams, is the Bills beating the Rams. All right, first off, I want y'all to know it's extremely difficult to go to 2 Super Bowls. It's extremely difficult to go to 2 Super Bowls. But the Bills were by far the favorite. If you notice, the Bills had more teams. They were almost, I would say, 50% of the AFC representative is the Bills. A lot of hype on the media from the Bills. The Bills got the most primetime games. Josh Allen is the favorite to win the MVP. So it has all been set for them to go to make this route, to get all the accolades, to get the favor, to get maybe home field advantage. They got to get past Kansas City. That's their nemesis. Another thing John Madden said, and we're going to wrap it up with this. He says, if you do anything long enough, it's going to come down to you and one other person, one other team. Your team versus one team. And I found that to be so true. Whether I was competitively playing chess, whether I was competitively playing football, basketball, certain teams I just always had trouble with, always look forward to playing. And that's what a rival is about. And let me tell you something about fantasy football sevens. The beauty of it is the schedule. And you're going to play your division twice. And you better take a good look at who's in your division because you're going to open the first 3 games against them and you're going to close the last 3 games against them. Okay? And so we're going to break down the schedule a little bit on the next show because it's what makes this really special to me. I'm going to go through and I'm going to customize all of y'all's schedule so that you play the same team first and last. It's built like a beautiful burger. You're going to love it. Fantasy Football Sevens, guys. It's about you. It's about us raising money for Kawasaki's disease, getting some money for these families and kids. I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for joining. I'm really glad y'all are part of this. I'm looking forward for another episode. Like I said, if you want to come on here, you want to hang out with me, you want to talk football, you want to talk this fantasy league for me, or you just want to talk fantasy in general, come on. But next week we're talking rivals. Because what did John Madden say? You do this long enough, you're gonna have a rival in fantasy football. And in this particular setup, it's not gonna take you long. Because you're gonna play. If you go to the playoffs, you're gonna play that one team 3 times in 1 year. And if you lose, you're out of the playoffs. You're done. And if you win, you're going on. So I guarantee you're gonna love it. You do anything long enough, you're gonna get a rival, and that's what this one's all about. All right, guys, checking it out with the outro. You guys have a great day. I love y'all. Thank y'all for being a part of it. And I'll talk to you soon.